Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello, Itamar.
Hello.
So, welcome to our Sansa Season 7 review. Sansa Stark, she had quite a season. And I think she has quite a future in Westeros, Itamar. What do you think?
I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. I think she's gonna be queen
Of the North?
of everybody.
Of everybody.
everything.
Okay.
Westeros.
Everybody and everything. Okay, so the place where she started the season, that was in Winterfell. Not really the Lady of Winterfell, next to her brother, her half-brother Jon, the King of the North, with Littlefinger by her side. And there were a lot of arguments between her and Jon about politics, what you should do this. Like, personally, they were getting along well, but they had disagreements, political disagreements.
We should give the last hearth and carhold to new families, loyal families who supported us against Ramsay.
The Umbers and the Karstarks have fought beside the Starks for centuries. They've kept faith for generation after generation.
And then they broke faith.
I'm not going to strip these families of their ancestral homes because of the crimes of a few reckless sons.
So there's no punishment for treason and no reward for loyalty.
And she finished the season as Lady of Winterfell.
Acting Lady of
Actively
Winterfell.
Lady of Winterfell, officially Lady of Winterfell. And with 2,000 and more soldiers at her command, at her direct command. No
Intermediary.
no alliances with uncomfortable players like Littlefinger, but
Right.
an army at her command, supposedly loyal to her.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Just think about it. Sansa Stark,
Yeah.
she has 2,000 soldiers loyal directly to her.
Yes, so that's quite an achievement. And
And she doesn't have, she doesn't need the King of the North by her side to
No.
be someone, and she doesn't need Littlefinger anymore.
not only she doesn't need those two guys at her side, she created the situation in which the lords prefer her,
Right.
prefer working for her, prefer her being as the commander and as the lady.
Right.
So that's quite an achievement
Right.
out of Sansa.
Right.
And we have to remember her arc since the beginning. He's being this La La Land girl that lives in a fantasy that wants,
Beautiful Joffrey.
Exactly.
And you will be queen over all of them. I'll never be cruel to you again. Do you understand me? You're my lady now. From this day until my last day.
They even touched on this and reminded the viewers in this season
Right.
what, her beginnings, what
Yeah.
were her beginnings, which
Yeah.
was marrying a king, even if it's psychotic, like this beautiful Prince Charming, and living in King's Landing and having beautiful babies
Right.
and having songs about you and,
Right. And the
romantic-
nights are good and everybody's good
Yes.
and I'm gonna be fine.
And slowly, she descended into reality, basically. Discovered that her beautiful prince is a monster. And with the guidance of Littlefinger, she, transitioned. In the end of season 4, she was wearing black, and these were
Right.
already seen okay, something's going on with Sansa.
Right.
They retracted it a little
but
bit.
then
She regressed a little bit in
She was
season
raped
5.
again.
But in season 6, she started her ascent up again.
Right.
And finished this season in her most powerful position
Ever.
ever, secured in her seat,
And in her own skin. As
in her
well.
own skin, yeah. And I think she's even comfortable now with the fact that she's meant to rule, and she's meant to be
Yeah.
in this position.
By the end of the season, she looked very, very confident
Yeah.
in front of Littlefinger. And even afterwards, in the epilogue, talking to Arya, when she said, I think in his own twisted way, he really loved me. So that shows some maturity. She didn't
Yes.
hate him. She didn't kill him out of pure vengeance and hate of what he did, which she could have justifiably because he betrayed her dad and caused the downfall of her house,
Yeah.
basically.
Yes.
But she was cold and distant about it. That's
What was.
yeah. I think that's a good feature for a leader, being able to judge things unemotionally, and that's a very big feature in her character.
Yeah.
I really liked how she actually explained her arc first of all, I'm a slow learner, but I do learn. And then the lone wolf dies, but the pack survives, which means this is why she transitions from Littlefinger, who is not part of her pack.
Yeah.
He's the lone wolf. But now she has Arya and Bran for now by
the
her
North.
side.
Yeah.
But it's like Bran provided some evidence. Sansa gave the sentence,
Yeah.
and then Arya carried out the sentence. Okay, so what do you think about the fact that Sansa did not swing the sword as her dad said that the person who gives the sentence must carry it out? If he cannot, then maybe that means that the person should not die.
Well, the exact words were, if you cannot look at the victims or the convicted the person in the eyes, then maybe this convicted person doesn't deserve to die.
Because the king is not in the room when
Yes.
the executioner is...
Yes.
Okay.
So technically, maybe she didn't carry it herself, but she was there looking in the eye, and
Yeah,
an
she was-
extension of her
Right.
did that, not
And
some
she didn't
random.
flinch. She didn't flinch.
She didn't flinch, and I actually liked. I liked it. I preferred it like that, because it's like more distance. It's not like I don't want Sansa being like out of character and like
Dirtying her hands.
dirty in her hand and being unladylike. She basically executed Ramsay last season by releasing the dogs and looking him in the eye while he died. So it wasn't a new thing for her.
Right, so Arya is the dogs now.
Yeah, Arya is the dog. Actually, her biggest achievement, I think, this season, Sansa's biggest achievement was bringing Arya into the fold, because they never had a good relationship. They kind of hated each other, I guess,
Right.
because they were girls and stupid girls. And Arya carried this resentment
For years!
for years. Oh, yeah, she had the list, but Sansa is
Right.
not on the list, but still,
Right,
Arya
this is
is
her mentality.
Arya is a grudge holder.
Maybe she has a second list. Remember that Monday
Yeah.
I had to do the dishes?
So bringing Arya into the fold,
Right.
there's
That was big.
speculation. I read somewhere that there was a scene that they cut from the final edit, which shows Sansa, thinking about, okay, what I'm gonna do with Arya after the conversation with
Why did
with
they
Littlefinger.
cut that?
I don't know. They preferred Bronn talking about cocks,
Okay, that
So
was
she
it.
went to Bran for advice, and then he gave her the information that changed it.
It was very important for her to get Arya, because if Arya is not on your side, then she's big trouble. She's big trouble.
Big trouble. Also symbolically, you need the wolves. You need the wolves be at
the
your
pack.
side. You need the pack. Yeah.
Another thing, she was very good at listening to the lords, letting them vent, and turning that into a good thing. When Jon was there and they were venting, he was, as usual, sullen and sulky and say, I've made up my mind and stuff like that. So that created tension. Now they're saying the same thing, and she just said, I support our king, my one and true love, Joffrey
Exactly.
Baratheon. Have you read Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus?
My favorite book.
We're starting a rereading.
After Why Guys Like Bitches.
So anyways, there was a very interesting part in the book when they tell men, the writer tells men, if a woman comes with trouble, instead of trying to fix the trouble, just listen to them and say, I understand. And I tried it and it works. Guys, come on, it's incredible. But here she's doing that to the lords. They're saying, this is wrong and everything is wrong. It's like, oh, I understand. And they're like, oh, yes, Sansa, I wish you were the queen in the north. So that was very smart on her. She had good instincts to play the game, the classic game. Jon is playing a different game. Daenerys, whatever, and Cersei. She's playing the game how it's supposed to be played.
Yeah, keeping your cards close to your chest. Not coming out with declaration like, yeah, you're right, let's do something about Jon. But, maybe if she thinks like that, and we suspect she do things like that.
Yeah, she told Arya afterwards, I told Jon this will happen.
Yeah, and I think with this scene of, listen to the lords, maybe we got a glimpse of her ruling style for the future. Like, let the lords vent.
That's her job, that's what she said.
Let them bring up their opinions and concerns.
Show respect.
But give them a seat at the table. And not being like with this, thrown up on the mountains or whatever, or in this, on the days. So this scene with the lords maybe tells us something about what Sansa have learned.
We did not choose you to rule us, my lady. but perhaps we should have.
The Knights of the Vale came here for you, Lady Stark.
You are very kind, my lords.
Right.
Not only how to get power and manipulate everyone from Littlefinger, but also how to not rule, looking at Joffrey and Cersei.
Right.
In terms of the lords, you need to...
Don't alienate them.
So she's like a mother. Yeah, I'll listen to you, I'll pet you, and I'll do something about it. I don't need to tell you right now.
Right. So she's thinking long term.
Then all the maesters and the advisors surround her, Lady Sansa, Lady Sansa,
Right.
Lady Sansa.
And everybody's happy with her.
Happy, and
There's no dissent.
The show showed us how she takes care of business as a ruler, doing even the micromanagement of ruling.
But if the entire north has to flee to Winterfell, they won't have enough time to bring wagon loads of grain with them.
Very wise, my lady.
She's also perceptive. Like, look at that. What are you doing with this armor? We're in the winter.
Right.
It's the north. Put some fur behind it. It's not the veil anymore.
Right. That's a good point, Lady Sansa.
Pardon me, my lady.
She's in her late teens or early 20s. I mean, she's talented. She wasn't groomed for that.
She was.
She wasn't.
No, she learned.
No, she was groomed for courtesy, not for ruling.
Right.
The ruling and taking care of business.
That's from pain.
That's from pain and experience and being attentive and sensitive enough to learn that.
Right. She's a good listener. She's been in the shadows. She's been in the corner, in the fringes of decision making the whole time. She didn't assert herself before she felt that she had something valuable to say. But I think that it's very interesting that there's no dissent against her. There's no opposition. Even it's just Littlefinger, with his machinations, tried to pull apart the Stark sisters, whatever. But if Arya is happy with her, all the lords of the north, the lords of the Vale, that's a good sign for her. That's a good sign for her. People like her.
People like her, and you don't change a winning horse.
In midstream.
Well, Eddie, like my daddy always used to say, never change horses in midstream.
Never change horses. Sounds like a smart bet to me.
Just gotta distract them. Got less than 2 weeks till the election.
You want me to produce your war? We need a theme, a song, some visuals. We need, it's a pageant.
They have to have something we want.
Well, I'm sure they do.
What do we have that they want?
A little freedom.
Well, why would they want that? Fuck freedom. They wanna destroy our way of life, all right?
Keep America working. Don't change horses in midstream. On election day, re-elect.
So another thing about carrying the sentence herself, the way that Ned explained that, he said, we do things our way, the old way, the way of the North. We're different from the South. The old way, as we know, is not always the good way. Sometimes you have to evolve. So it goes well with the fact that she's not really a Northerner in many ways, right? We discussed that. She looks more like her mom, Tully. She lost her dire wolf. And she's maybe the only one who wanted to leave Winterfell. Yes. She really wanted to go to King's Landing. So maybe that goes well with her character.
And also about the old ways. In the old ways, she will have to marry somebody before ascending to being Lady of Littlefinger.
Right.
The old ways are not,
What was will never be gained. You can purchase that shirt. Plato really said that. Google it. Google it. Don't Google it. Don't Google it. So, let's give Sansa a grade for staying in character and for being successful as a character, achieving her goals. So, let's start with the latter. I think a 10.
Yes.
Could she have done anything better? She didn't make any mistakes. She listened to Littlefinger.
Very careful. She's very careful.
She plays a conservative game, and she won. I don't know. Maybe she could have asked Bran more questions.
Yeah.
That could be useful.
Yeah.
But
there's no time.
There's no time. Okay, so how about staying in character? What do you think?
In terms of her character, not only she stayed in her character, but it seems like her character is one of the only characters left in the show that still evolves into something.
Right, she's not fully formed yet.
She's not fully formed. She still evolves. She still has a ladder. She still has a ladder to climb.
Ooh, because there's chaos.
And there's chaos, true. You can take almost every other character, main character, and say, okay, they already reached their peak.
It's a genuine, awe-inspiring transformation over this entire epic story.
Yeah, and we can predict one thing for sure. She will look at everybody as a potential enemy. They hammered this point of Littlefinger telling her, never stop playing the game.
Right.
Everybody is a potential enemy. Don't
Right.
trust anybody,
Right.
even your friends, even your family. Everybody is a tool that you can use. And something that was new in this season was the introduction of her ambition.
Right.
We said before the season that was kind of lacking. We didn't
Right.
know why and who and how come she would like start to feel herself that she's
Right.
meant to do something
Right.
bigger than just marrying somebody. And we started seeing that in this season. And also there's some kind of references like that were not taken from the scenes in Winterfell necessarily. Don't listen to clever men, that Olana said to Daenerys. And men are keep talking,
Right.
men are fighting all the time.
Right, they want to do hero stuff.
There is Cersei, that we already got an example of queen and a monarch, sovereign in her own rights, that commanded loyalty from
Right.
other houses, even though she's a woman. And nobody
Right.
said, well, you know what, I don't, no conservative came and said, I will never follow a woman.
Right.
Where's your son? Your son is the king. You need to marry somebody right now.
Right, nobody said that.
Nobody said that. So there's already a precedent of...
And nobody's saying that in the North either.
Yeah, nobody said it in the North.
You know what I missed this season? Like, okay, so she gradually learned and then became more efficient and whatever, more fierce, more smarter. But where was the inner struggle between her inner little finger, like the dark side, and her light side? Because she started the story naive.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, okay, so she's sometimes petty and annoying, but she
Yeah.
was 12. But at heart, she wanted good things. She didn't want to rule because she wanted power.
Yeah.
She just had these fantasies. So where was the inner struggle? I would have liked maybe see her thinking, okay, so Littlefinger telling me this, but I have another voice in my head, I don't know, maybe through Brienne or a
Yeah.
maester or something, and then contemplating, should I do this, should I do that? Meh.
The inner struggle, I guess, no, how far will I go with my ambition, I guess, because she did contemplating removing Arya and hurting the
Right.
pack, but we didn't really see that, but we got the sense
Right.
that...
Arya told her, you have this ambition, and then you could see she was conflicted in her face.
Yeah.
So that was that. That was the inner struggle.
And also the scene with the execution of Littlefinger, the whole setup was she's gonna do something to Arya, and then at the last minute, we knew that there was a conspiracy, and it was all, it was all set up for Littlefinger's death.
Okay. Let's go to a bold prediction. Obviously, Sansa, you think will be queen. But let's go to history to establish that after we spend all this time talking about her character, Queen Elizabeth. So what are the similarities between Queen Elizabeth and Sansa that make you think that Sansa will be Queen of Westeros?
Okay, so obviously it's not 1-to-1, and you can find maybe other examples, even Elizabeth of York, people suggested. But if you look back at the War of the Roses, or at the end of the War of the Roses...
In the War of the Roses, that's the premise of the story.
Yes, the War of the Roses was like a civil war for a few decades. So maybe it's like started with Robert Rebellion. That's like the an analogy. I think nobody really thought that the Tudors will be winner takes all. If you look at the court back then, and who will replace Henry VIII, not a lot of people, I would guess, would Elizabeth when she was like 12 or 13.
Okay.
When she was growing up in the court.
So she was an unlikely
candidate.
Like Sansa.
Like Sansa. She became queen solely by herself. She didn't marry anybody. She inherited it. She was after they changed the law. Yeah, she was the rightful heir. At first, that was her sister Mary. When Mary
so Sister
died.
Mary in this case would be Cersei.
Yeah, could be. She was the daughter of a traitor.
Elizabeth.
Anne
And
Boleyn.
Sansa.
Yeah, Anne Boleyn was a traitor. Elizabeth was the daughter of a traitor. Sansa is the daughter of a traitor. They have red hair. Both of them have red hair.
Boom, call it confirmed. That's all I need, red hair.
And in terms of like her education, Elizabeth's education, she also had this guy that helped her from the noble class.
Right.
And there will
Lord Seymour or something.
Yeah, there's speculation about some sexual harassment that he did. And
the laws were very lax back then.
The world is changing.
It is.
It's not the world that was in the start of the story.
Well, most definitely not.
Okay, there were rebellions, whatever before.
Right.
There was civil war before.
Everything crumbled, and now it's a new place.
It's a new place, and in a new place. When we said Sansa will be queen like 2.5 years ago or something like that, we didn't really know. Okay, there was still Stannis over there and whatever. Now, there are not a lot of contenders left. And in terms of her arc, there need to be a payoff to all her suffering. Sansa's chapters, they're very, very, very sad, and you grow to hate her, and you know,
Right.
she's annoying.
Right. And where is she going if she's not gonna end on top? She's just gonna die. So why
Yeah.
take her through all this? Have her start to learn and then take it away? Like she already lost everything. What else does she have to lose besides of her life? And that would be boring.
And the fact that the world is crumbling, that gives a great advantage to the survivors. And she's a survivor.
Right. She will survive us all.
Yeah, and she survives. She has the right blood. She's coming from the right family. There's already a precedent of a ruler, single queen.
Right.
So...
Okay, so if you take the world-changing aspect, does that relate to Elizabeth's history, to the history of England?
Yeah, after the War of Roses and after Henry VIII broke from the church, that was a different world.
Right. He formed the Anglican Church.
And because he didn't have any heirs, and because he already transformed England to some kind of a absolute monarchy, he changed the rules that even a female offspring can inherit him.
Right. Basically, we agree that this is the best way for her character arc to end, the most satisfying way. So an absolute monarchy, that's what we think would happen to Westeros. One kingdom, united kingdom, under Sansa, everyone will have to bow. I have a feeling maybe she'll rename King's Landing. Clear slate. I don't know if she'll have Arya with her. I think that partnership is kind of weird, but we'll see. So, what do you think about Sansa? You know, Itamar loves Sansa.
If you like our theories, if you like our work, you can support us on Patreon. It's not only supporting us, it's more like golden membership to all of our other content that we're going to upload mostly on Patreon. We're going to stay here with Game of Thrones and other stuff, but we're going to have more content on Patreon, more personal, more like not GOT related necessarily.
Right, history, politics, all kinds of
Yes,
stuff.
we're doing live streams too for the patrons.
Okay. Check it out.
Check it out. It's worth your while. And if you are already our patron, write in the comments, say, you know, talk about, you know,
if you're happy.
If you're happy with being a patron of GOT Academy, you know, if it's like, if you give $5, is the live chat and live stream, is it worth it? If you give $2, if the high society is worth it, you know, tell about your experience for if people feel uncomfortable. Just tell them it's worth it.
Okay, so thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.